Hey, what's up, everybody? It is right inside the 2 o'clock hour on Monday afternoon. So, you know what time that is. It's time for Making Moves Monday right here on 103.7 The Beat with Jen Ross. I am your host, Jen Ross. Um, I was gonna get on here today and talk about the obvious, the slap heard around the world yesterday. And everybody just seems to have an opinion about it, whether he was defending his wife or if it was the right time to do it, or if it was appropriate, or if it was staged, or there just seems to be so many opinions out there about it. But hey, I'm gonna give you mine because I haven't posted anything about it, but my opinion is it wasn't the time or the place. Like, two black men on stage, on a national stage, behaving like that. Like, I don't think that was appropriate, flat out. Re- Defending his wife or not, um, it just wasn't appropriate. It wasn't the time or the place, and it just was a bad reflection. In my opinion. Now, this is just my opinion. This does not reflect the opinions of 103.7 The Beat or the owner or any of the board members. This is just my little humble, just Jen Ross opinion. Um, but yeah, it just wasn't the time or the place for it. So yeah, that's it. But I think we need to move on to something else. Like, it's gotten so much attention since last night. Like, we all seen the videos. We all seen everybody's opinion and post about it. And it was on every news channel this morning, every social media outlet. So yeah, we got to move on. We definitely, like, especially here in this city, we got bigger fish to fry than that. So um so in other news, we got some exciting things coming up in the city of Muskegon Heights. So the information for Juneteenth, for people that want to do sponsorships, or just volunteer or whatever you would like to do, that information is out. So Juneteenth is scheduled to be June 17th, 18th, and 19th, 3 days this year at Mona Lake, with different events happening every year. I don't have a complete list of those events yet. But we definitely, are seeking volunteers. If anybody wants to help out, just let me know. Um, and we will get you on the list. Also, kicking off the summer, Kaya's second annual block party. So if you missed this event last year, we all know about the Us Cafe. We all know, Miss Thornton Hunter is out there doing her thing, along with her team. So the second annual block party will take place on May 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend, on that Saturday. So vendors are also needed for that. And food vendors and regular merchandise vendors. I think so far we've already exceeded the amount of vendors that we had last year for it. Um, so if you would like that information, you can look on my Facebook page. You can look on the Us Cafe Facebook page, and get that information. If you want to participate, just fill out the information and send it back to me, and we will get you on the list. The fee is very reasonable. It's like $25 for regular vendors and then 50 for food vendors. And a lot of the food vendors sold out last year. And we had a really good time. The time is 12 to 6, again, May 28th. And it's a block party. So it's like, very laid back. Bring your lawn chairs, and just come out and sit. It's going to be right there, at Barney and Maffett, right in front of the cafe. Um, so if you would like to participate, like I said, you can check my page, her page, or whatever, and and get your name on the list. All right, we're gonna have a good time. So on the show with me today, I have Mr. Ronald Jenkins. Bring him in. Hey, Ron.
Hey Jen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fairly well. Thank you for asking.
Good,
That's
good.
the old people say, fairly
Congratulations.
well.
Fare thee well, right? Some old songs about that. Um,
Yeah, there you go.
so first, we want to say congratulations for being selected as Mayor Pro Tem, for the city of Muskegon Heights. And I think that is wonderful. I mean, this is your first year on the council, so to take that step, congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, title changed, but same mission.
Right,
Title
absolutely.
changed, but the same mission. Still about the city. I think we have so many people, Jen, that are so much caught up into titles
Yeah.
that we miss the real vision. And I'm
Right.
glad that God has prepared me to be a visionary, and not someone that is focused on self gain.
Right.
Like I say, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. Um, I have enough titles, like I told council. I have enough titles as it is. And I mean, God knows that I do a whole lot that people don't even think or wouldn't even imagine that I'm a
Right.
part of. So I did not need another title. However, I'm blessed, I'm pleased, I'm honored that mayor and some council members saw the leadership and the guidance and the vision that I have that could possibly help the city go into another direction. So
Right. Which we know is what the city needs.
yeah,
People have been stagnant, I think, for quite some time. Both, in leadership positions, in property owner positions, just not being held accountable for the way it looks and how things are running. Um, and so what do you think what do you bring to the table that's different, Ron?
well, I bring a new look. I mean, at the end of the day, like I
Mhm.
said, to by me being the only new face, voice, eyes, ears, hands that's on the council, I actually get a chance to sit back, listen, and observe all things that's going on around and the things that have been going on in our community. And
Mhm.
so, for me to actually voice some things, um, you know, some take it good, some take it bad, but I'm able to be very transparent and optimistic about things that's really going on. So, and being considered for Mayor Pro Tem, like I told Mayor, I mean, we don't always agree on everything.
Right.
And I told city manager, as well as other council, we're not going to always agree on everything. But one thing I take very um, kind to, Jen, is that my character means a lot to me, and my integrity means a lot. So I'm going to stand for what's right. I'm going to do what's right, but I'm not going to make a public spectacle of myself. When we're in open meetings and things like that. I think my name. I always told my grandparents. My grandparents taught us, if you don't have anything else, you have your name, and they taught us
Yes.
coming up down in Louisiana. Taught us and said, "Hey, one thing you don't do is disrespect the name Jenkins." And so that's why I take that thing seriously. No matter what somebody else say, think about me. At the end of the day, one thing that anybody know about Ron Jenkins, if they talk to me, been around me, is that I'm going to stand up for what's right.
Right. Good. So we've heard, for anybody who has, like reads the M Live or any of those, we've seen that there's going to be some new development by way of homes in the city. How do you feel about that? We've I've been to some council meetings, of course. Um, and one thing I often hear is, this is not what we need to be doing. Money doesn't need to be focused on that. But I don't hear a lot of other alternatives. We just hear, you know, well, we can't spend money on that. We can't do that right now. I hear a lot of no and can't. But I don't hear a lot of other solutions from other council members. So we know that the homes are needed. We know that some revenue is needed into the city. So what is your take on that?
I'm proud. I'm very proud that we have development about to happen.
Yes.
One of the things that when I ran, I talked about wanting to bring truly affordable housing into our city, and to see that it's actually happening. That's one check mark off my list that I wanted to bring in and say that I'm able to be a part of. I
Hmm.
think, as you talked about housing, we talked about revenue. We've been stagnated for a long time,
Very long.
for a
Yeah.
very long time, a very, very long time. And to have people continue to say what we don't need or when is the best time, if I look back over the last 20 plus years and we still not making moves, when will ever be the best time?
Right.
Or what is going on, or what is going through our mindset that's saying that this is not the right time? Because we can't continue to financially go backwards. We must
Right.
continue to press forward, and we must
Right.
be innovative and creative to thinking of ways to bring revenue back into our city. We have to beautify our city because once we beautify our city, then that improves our school system.
Yeah.
It improves our surroundings. And so one of the things that I bring also, Jen, is that being formerly a part of the school, my heart, my desire is for our youth, is for our families to be in Muskegon Heights. And that's why I tell people I love what I do. I love being in Muskegon Heights. I love living in Muskegon Heights. I wouldn't want to be in any other place right now.
Mhm.
But we have to do something different. So when people say what we can't afford, one of the things that again I try not to focus on is the negativity.
Right.
So much when you speak negative, you think negative. When you're around negative and you allow negative energy around you, then you become negative and negative energy overtakes you. So I try not to entertain a lot of that. That's why many times when people see me, 9 out of 10 people see me by myself, because I have to remain in a place to where I promised God years ago, um, that I'll be about His business, and I try to make sure that I don't defray from that because I could have been gone from here a long time ago.
Mhm.
So with me keeping my promise, God keeps His promise to me, and so that is very, very important to me. That I'm not perfect, far from it, but one of the things that I say that we can do is be role models and example inside our community. And this is one way that we can do that by standing up, doing what other people think is not able to get done or think is inevitable or um, less, less, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, well, anyway, it's,
I wish I
I,
could help you out, but I don't know.
I wish I could help myself there. I mean, I wish I could help myself because I just can't believe that in our mind that we think that we can't do something. And as
Right.
we know as people, God said, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And we're limiting a limitless God. I think I don't know if I can talk like that on your show. I'm sorry. But
Oh, you're fine.
when we limit someone that is limitless, then we're deceiving ourselves. So that's where I'm at with it, Jen. That's where I'm at.
It's so funny that you use that word because I did an interview with Craig Persons a couple of weeks ago. He was interviewing people in the community, who are just kind of doing things. And he asked me, the final question that he asked me was, if you could describe the city of Muskegon Heights in one word, what would that word be? And that was my word, Ron: limitless. Like, there are so many
Mhm.
possibilities. We know that, we have room for businesses to expand. Um, we have room for homes. We have, a bunch of empty lots. So, that's just so funny that you use that word because that was the exact word that I used.
Well,
So,
like you said, I mean, there are so many opportunities for Muskegon Heights right now. So
mhm,
many opportunities that we can't even speak on them right now. I mean,
right,
if we look around, like you said, there's so many open lots. There's so many homes that can be renovated. There is the lake. There's the water. We have people that literally fly in to Muskegon, Michigan, because of the water, because of the
right,
lake, because of Michigan Adventure. We mean, people got to drive past us in order to get to where they want to go in other municipalities in other cities. So we are the focal point, and if any time is right, it's right now. This is
yes,
the time that we act on the betterment of our community. And if we say we want the best for our children, we want the best for our elderly. I hear people saying this, Jen, all the time. Our elderly can't afford. Our elderly can't afford. Well, we're all in positions. to where we may not be able to do what others do. I'll say it that way. We may not be able to do what
Mhm.
others do. But when you start saying what you cannot afford, again, you become limitless. You become limited. You become limited
Limit.
in what you are doing.
Mhm.
So when you are limited in your mindset and thinking, then there's no production. So we wonder why some of our houses look the way they look. We wonder why some of our yards look the way they look. We wonder why our streets look the way they look. It is not because we can't do it. It's because we limit ourselves on what we can do.
Mhm.
So we got to stay focused on better or betterment. We got to stay focused on what we can do. Speak those things as though they are. Speak them into existence and do the things and count on those people that are in leadership positions to do the right thing. And if not, hold them accountable. I've seen so many times, Jen, even before I ran on council, I was sitting in meetings for a year and a half, like, whoa, wow, really? Those are words that would come out of my mouth. And I'm sitting up there like,
Mhm.
accountability has to be someplace. And I don't care when or where. If I'm the one that you need to talk to, hold me accountable. I'm not
Right.
afraid to say, hey, I made a mistake or I'm wrong about something. But if I'm right, man, my mom used to tell me, and rest her soul, tomorrow I'll be burying her for in the ninth year starting tomorrow. So I've been in that slump a little bit, Jen, these last 3 or 4 days.
Oh, I understand.
But rest her soul, man. I'm telling you, it's like we have so much positivity, positive things going on, and we have positive people inside the city of Mesquite Heights. We really
Yes.
do. We have more positive people than we do negative. However, the positive people need to start speaking up. The positive people need to start speaking up. It is
Mhm.
too long, too far gone that we are not having others speak up against things that's wrong. You just said an example of what happened last night. All right. We all woke up to this big thing on CNN and all over the place, right? It's all over the media.
Mhm.
I see more people commenting and giving their input on that than putting that energy into the city of Muskegon Heights to better that.
Right. And not
So
even just the city of Muskegon Heights, into your block. You know,
yeah,
I mean, you can start, with
let's start
your
there.
home. Yeah, you can
Let's
start
start
with
there.
your home. So, yeah, I agree. I was just taken back by all of that. I'm like, these two black men on here just acting a fool. But sorry, not to take away from what you were talking about. So I want to talk about I wasn't able to attend this planning session on Saturday. I had every intention of being there just to hear what the input was from those who attended. Can you speak a little bit about what that was? Uh
Yeah, Jen. Um, and the answer would be no. I can't
oh.
speak on it.
Okay.
Um,
All
and
right.
I'll tell you why I laughed. Two things. The purpose of the meeting was supposed to be able to come together and to bring some ideas and thoughts in for council to bring thoughts in and to city people to bring thoughts in about how to improve revenue.
Right.
Somehow, somewhere out there became a flyer that spread like a wildfire throughout the community,
It
and
did.
none of us
I it
and
I didn't know that the flyer was, not supposed to be out there until it was brought to my attention. I'm like, well, I shared it. So, I mean, I thought, having community involvement was a great idea, but I didn't think, want everybody to get bombarded. Um,
yeah,
and not
because it was
and then the result ended up being, well, I didn't want the result to end up being not a productive meeting. You know what
right.
I'm
Well,
saying?
that was the thing there. We did have um, I think they still had the meeting, but we didn't have an agenda. Nothing came to us as council.
Oh,
What the agenda was about. It was put together. Council was supposed to be a part of it, but when this flyer went out talking about these are the things that's going to be discussed and these are the things that we're going to be talking about, We had no idea about it, and so the meeting was supposed to have been canceled because we never got the agenda from one of the spearheads of the meeting, and
Oh,
so we didn't want to go in there blindsided and
blindsided.
not
Right.
have a direction. And in all things, we got to get an understanding,
Hmm.
and we did not get that understanding, and so I know the meeting was supposed to get canceled, but when I actually rolled past, I did see cars there. So some people still was there at the meeting, unfortunately. So I don't know
All
what
right.
went on. I'm sure tonight at council meeting, I'm sure there'll be some vocal people there. I'm pretty sure some people will be there talking or bringing it up about what was discussed in the meeting. But again, I think if we do things decent and we do things orderly, we'll get a better response. And it's not that nobody wanted to not have a meeting or not have the city or residents involved, because I think that's what our biggest part is to have everybody involved.
Right.
But it has to be done the right way.
Correctly. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, so
Absolutely.
hopefully that answered. Hopefully that answered your question. I just had to laugh because, yeah, it's some things that we continue to do. We continue to do things as if it's okay. And I
Hmm.
think when people, the right people, hear how things actually really are, and not words tainted and changed. And I'm a very particular person, Jen. I pay very close attention to details, and I pay very close attention to
Yes,
wording.
you do.
So so I always tell people, listen to what is being said, look and see what's being said, so that they can tell us watch as well as pray. So look and hear at what's being said. Make sure that in a sentence that there are not words taken away from the real sentence, because it sounds good and it sounds like it's correct, but
Hmm.
in reality we're being deceived by the wrong phrases being put into the paragraph or the sentence that's being presented. So I always tell people, you ask me, I'll tell you. As a person of oath, I can't just come out and talk about things. But if you
Right.
ask me questions as an elected official, I'm obligated to give you the answers to what you are asking me. And if I don't have the answers, I'm obligated, and you hear me using those words, I'm obligated to find the answer or point you in the right direction.
Hmm. Good to know. So, um, yeah, so that I mean that just lets the people know right there that you are approachable, and that you're more than willing to have that conversation, with them if they have any questions. Mary
Absolutely.
Bird left a comment. She just said Muskegon Heights is in the rebuilding. We need to work from vision and work from a plan. We can do it. The time is now. And then she also asked if there's a flyer for Juneteenth or the block party. There is a flyer for the block party, um, but not for Juneteenth yet, just a Facebook event. So all that stuff will be the block party you can find, I think, on the Us Cafe. Well, I know on the Us Cafe page. And I think it's on mine too, but I'll have to repost it so it's updated.
Mhm,
Sorry, not to take away. I just wanted to get into those before we continue on.
mhm.
Um, so um, let's see. Kellen Reed, she said roads, water prices, additional insurance costs because of neighborhood. People currently vested or living in the heights are in need of infrastructure or perhaps relief. Multitudes of applications for home repair help are being told there is only one inspector. Administration of services is important and accountability is necessary. Do you want to
Absolutely.
address any of that, Ron? I mean,
Absolutely. She's right on target. Who is that?
Kellen Reed.
Hey, tell Kellen Reed, thank you for the, I mean, she was very precise about it. So she's absolutely correct. There are a lot of things, infrastructure, that needs to be changed. Financially, I wish that we had people um, hired and in positions in the city, but due to lack of funding, it is hard to
Hmm.
actually get the right people or the right amount of people in these positions.
And I think
Road
too, it's
inspection.
it's important to emphasize that the income for the city has been stagnant. So when
It's
you take
been
into
very stagnant.
consideration, like the people that looked at the budget when it came out, there's not a lot of wiggle room. There really isn't. So income is what's needed. They have to increase the revenue, period. Um
90 some percent of the budget,
it's
90, I want
it was like
92 or
93, wasn't it?
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
high. 90 some percent is literally built on paying out bills and staffing at the city, and knowing that staffing, we're very limited. But
Right.
90 some percent is literally based on the output of the city expenses. Has nothing to
Mhm.
do with anything else. So that's why revenue is important. So, but yeah, she talked about having one inspector. We are working diligently. I think the city manager is doing. I think he's doing a great job. I just say that this is me. This is not anything to do with anybody else or council people's opinions, thoughts, or whatever. Personally, I look at a person's vision, and because I'm a visionary, so I actually see some of the things that's going on. Like I say, I
Mhm.
don't always agree with everything, but as far as the vision of where we're going as a city and the things that he is trying to implement, I believe that once some of these things are implemented, we will all see vast improvements in the city. So those places where we see where we're one man down or one man show or two or three person show, those areas will be improved, but we have to be able to increase some of our revenue. And that's what the budget was talking about. That's what it was elaborating on. So when people looking at why other cities are able to have or call city halls, and I'm talking about across the board, they're calling city halls or they calling multiple units within city halls, and they're getting their answers. They're getting their questions answered. But yet, when you call the city of Muskegon Heights, we are quote unquote we're limited. We're limited to resources because we're limited to personnel who is knowledgeable. And I'll say
Mhm.
that, no disrespect to anybody that's working for our city, but we are lacking people in positions that are knowledgeable about the changes and the opportunities that are presented to certain cities or municipalities. So when
Right.
we don't have people in these positions, or we don't have multiple people in these positions, that's why we can't get some of the dollars that could be or that is allotted for cities such as Muskegon Heights. We don't have people that's out there being able to research where some monies can come in or more money can come into the city. So
Yeah, and
again,
grant
Jen,
writing, we
and
see a lot of I pay attention to I live in the city of Muskegon. So,
mhm,
when I'm watching their council meetings, we talk they talk a lot about grant dollars. And grants you have to apply for, so
yes,
that's something that's really truly needed is someone to take the initiative or to find those grants and be able to apply for them. The city manager can't do it all. I'm sorry. But the man has a lot on his plate. So
wow, you,
um
Jen,
yeah,
you
so
said that. You said something right there. I've looked, if I may,
yes.
I've looked over the last 12 plus years. We've gone through three city managers, four, maybe three, four city managers.
Mhm.
And every time we've gone through someone, somehow we always seem to blame that person. Um, so
Mm.
and now being on the inside, and as I'm like, no, those people haven't been the problem. The problem is the lack of, and also the lack of. So both ways, and I'm talking about the lack of support and the lack of knowledge and support system from around throughout administration. So the lack of and the lack thereof has been
Yeah.
the reason. And until we change that mindset and be supportive of the new thoughts and ideas, we cannot live in Muskegon Heights like the 1970s. I hear
Right.
so many people saying, let's make Muskegon Heights back like it was back in 1970. I'm sorry. You're not going in any city and looking at any city as if they were back in the 70s or 80s.
Mm-mm.
No. They're beautified, they're different, they're businesses, they're homes on top of businesses, they're rental places on top of their businesses. They are making units out of the business district in the cities.
Mhm.
We can do the same thing. There is no other city, and it's bad, Jen, that we have people coming into our meetings and coming in and telling us they wish other cities wish they had the outline or the layout that Muskegon Heights have.
Mhm.
I
And the
wish I could
resource.
make this.
I mean, the biggest resource is that water.
I
The
wish I
lake, the
could make this
lakefront.
stuff up, Jen. I wish I could make what I'm saying up. I wish I
Mhm.
could. But because you asked me and we're on the show and we had other citizens that asked questions, guess what? I am willing to tell it. It is a shame that we don't have the support system from citizens and city leaders to do the right thing to bring businesses. We keep talking about our own personal gain, our personal interests. But what about the city? What about seeing something different? What about trying something different? We Most of the people go,
Because
Jen.
obviously what's been tried is not working. So don't you have to try something different? I mean, in order to see what works? Doesn't
What
that
is
make
that
sense?
saying? What is that saying? Only a fool continues to do the same thing and it doesn't get a different outcome.
I think that's the
So,
definition of insanity, right?
oh yeah, that one too. Yeah,
Something like that.
maybe I just wanted to say weird. Maybe I wanted to say sometimes we're fools. Maybe that's what I wanted to say. Sometimes we're fools within ourselves because we think that we're fooling ourselves, but there's no growth. But I tell people, look at this here. Look at the people who are talking and delivering a message to you. Look at their lives and see is there growth within them, around them, and then you can decipher where you're going and where they're going as a people, as a person, and as a city. So when we're looking at growth, look at what comes from a person to see if there's growth inside them. Otherwise, you'll see that these seeds that's been planted are planted on stony ground, and there is nothing that's going to come out of it.
Absolutely. Um, so we've already discussed that the need is for more revenue into the city. One way to do that is
Mhm.
housing. Do you or have you heard of any other ideas to increase the revenue?
Well, one of the things, Jen, is that again you hear everyone using the word collaboration, and
Mhm.
I'm going to say this: collaborating with other city and city leaders, that's going to get people to understand that we're not on an island by ourselves.
Right.
For so long, Muskegon Heights, even when I was back in school and before then, every we always kept ourselves separated from everyone.
Mhm.
We've had that mind, excuse me, and sometimes rightfully so, but from a business standpoint, not right. Okay, because sometimes things that if we're not on the island by ourselves, we get the negative press. But in this situation, people are still trying to live a life isolated. We are not isolated. If people look at Muskegon Heights, and I'll say this and you'll know what I'm saying, we're pretty much up here on top. Muskegon Heights, it's impossible for Muskegon Heights to be flooded out. I don't know how many people actually know that. Muskegon Heights sit above, everything else sits below. So just think about that. I want people to actually look at how Muskegon Heights sits. Muskegon Heights is not going to be flooded out. If if Lake Michigan overflooded, that water doesn't come in Muskegon Heights. It'll go
Mm.
around us. Muskegon Heights sits above. However, but what I really wanted to get out of that, what I really wanted to get out of that point was that there are opportunities for us to collaborate with businesses and business owners. There are people that want to take that risk
Yes.
into coming into Muskegon Heights. However, that risk, they don't want to take a risk when we're not even supportive of the people or the city manager who's bringing them in.
Right.
I'll say that again because I know somebody's listening. The face of our city is our city manager and mayor. Those are the vocal people of our city. Those are majority of the time, those are the people who are responsible for bringing new businesses into our city, or that will be meeting with those people. Jen, it's a shame that over the past times that we've had representatives that will come in and say, yes, we want to bring our businesses to Muskegon Heights. But then we have city leaders and representatives that will go behind the backs of those leaders that was making the deals and opportunities to go back behind them to crash the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Sabotage.
yes, Muskegon Heights, that does happen. Yes, Muskegon Heights, that has been happening. So I told you, Jen, if you ask me, you brought me on your show, I will tell it. Yes,
Well, thank
it
you.
is happening. It is happening. We have people who intentionally go behind our elected or our personnel that is in charge of our city, to go behind them and to deliberately have separate meetings to talk to them. And guess what these people say? We don't want to be a part of something that's causing or that's full of confusion.
Yes.
So, yes, we have people in place. Let them do their jobs. If they don't
Mhm.
do their jobs, then there's an evaluation period there that we acknowledge that, and then we'll take care of it during our evaluation. But to micromanage a daily activity, to micromanage is not our job as council
Mhm.
people or even as city people. If community does not like what they're seeing, what's going on, come to council and voice it.
Right.
Let's not continue to have sabotage going on. There is, do we know, do we see how much land we have for prosperity,
Yep.
for businesses to come in and to develop? Wow, this is not just
Right.
about housing. This is literally business owners bringing things back. If it can happen in the South, it can happen here.
Yes.
If it
And if it's
happens in the
if
South
it's
in the
happening
city,
around us, come on now.
yes.
If it's happening
Okay.
around us, it can happen here as well.
Oh, okay, Jen, you asked me, I'll tell it. Yes. We talked about the marijuana thing. Okay, yep, yep. I think I heard you ask that question, or I heard you ask something about business. So I guess I'll talk about that. I just looked
Mhm.
in the paper just on the news or
And
in
saw
news.
that over $500,000 that Muskegon got, and Heights only got 50 something thousand because we only have one. Is that what
Yes.
you're going to talk
And,
about? Yeah.
oh yes, Jen, thank you. And and also what I did, Jen, I actually looked and I put up all the areas in the state of Michigan. And
Mhm.
some of these are areas, quote unquote, I'll say that you wouldn't think that would have had marijuana facilities in
I
their
think like
cities.
Ann Arbor was number 1, right?
You have Ann Arbor, you have Kent County,
Yeah.
you have
Yep.
Ionia, you have all these places. Some of
Yep.
them have multiple. It doesn't
Yeah.
make the city bad. It doesn't make the city
Mhm.
bad. It was a business decision, a business move. And
Mhm.
lo and
And at
behold,
the end of the day, it pays off for the city. They get that tax
wow,
money, and now they get the money from the state. So,
wow. Well,
yeah.
Jen, well, since you said it, yes, there are, just for those who may not have seen the list and how much money the state just gave the cities. There
Mhm.
are some cities, and these are all in within 60 miles of us. There are some cities that received over $1 million. There were some cities that received 700 and some odd $1,000.
Yep.
The city of Muskegon received almost a $500,000. And
Yep.
unfortunately, thank you, Jim. Unfortunately, that the city of Muskegon Heights, we only received 46 or fifty-six thousand
It was like
dollars,
52,000 or something like that. Yeah,
fifty-two
it was
thousand one
in the
hundred and
50s.
forty-four dollars.
Yeah,
We received the minimum, the
because we just
minimum,
have one.
because we only have one. So
Mhm.
just think. So that 52,000 or $56,000 times however many you have, that's how Muskegon has, I think, 8.
Yeah.
So that's why they're at over 40 some, 400 some $1,000. So some had 12, and it just
Mm-hmm.
multiplied and multiplied. So the
Yep.
city of Muskegon Heights, we have to start thinking more about business opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
not what others are doing or not doing. We have to think from a business standpoint, not from our quote unquote. Yes, Jen, I am a man of faith. I truly am, but I don't bring my man of faithhood into council meetings.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I had to bring my business attire in. I had to think. I had to put on my business hat
Right.
because
Which is,
now
I
it
mean,
is
which
what's
only
that.
just makes sense because that's what you're doing essentially is you were elected to run a business, if you will. Because the
Correct.
city is a business.
Correct. And I take that very very seriously when I'm doing that. Whenever I'm making a decision or thinking about something or contemplating something, and again, I tell people, look at my track record, and you can tell me about what business decisions or choices that I've made. And I'm thankful to God that I can say I don't have a lot of failures. I'm not saying that I haven't fallen short on some,
Hmm.
but from a business standpoint, I have made great decisions and I've been patient about the decisions that I've had to make for a reason. I've learned over time that anytime that you're afraid to move forward or take a gamble or take a risk, then you will always or seem to find yourself stagnated and in the same place. So
Hmm.
I've made those choices. And so look at the things and the decisions that I made and then judge me from that. And I give anybody the opportunity to do that.
Wow. Good. Yes. Thank you. That's a
Yes,
word.
ma'am.
That was something I really needed to hear right now. So I appreciate that. Let's see. We have another comment from Miss Kellen. She says, "Thank you. Knowing that a gentry class is what's needed for a tax base means soliciting businesses and developers that utilize the resources. What the collaboration looks like, and I mean by race, will be the difference between an unjust gentrification and a city with leadership from within."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's a good
okay.
point.
That is a good
That's a
point,
great
and
point. That's a great.
yeah, I like that unjust gentrification.
I like it. I mean, hey,
Yep.
I mean, we have, like I said, when you enter into the city of Muskegon Heights, you say it says a sign that we are a city of friendly people.
Friendly people.
Um,
Hmm.
and that's what we're supposed to be. However, we understand that we have not been that all the time. We have not, and we have to
Hmm.
get back to that. And it's a starting point that everyone is created equal. Everyone has opportunities. Everyone is wanted and needed in the city of Muskegon Heights. Everyone.
Yes. So yeah, before we got to wrap up here. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody that's listening that there is a council meeting tonight. Is it 5:30?
5:30. 5:30.
5:30 in Chambers, and I believe you can catch it on Zoom as well still.
Mm-hmm.
Um so yeah, just even if you can't go to everyone, they meet on the second and the fourth Monday every month. Even if you can't attend everyone, if you can't, get on via Zoom, pop in sometimes and just and hear what's going on. We hear a lot of complaints. Um, I'll see if I can find somebody just asked, is there a Zoom link to the meeting? I'll see if I can find it. I
There
could not
is.
find it. Yeah, I
There,
couldn't
there,
find it
there-
at one time, nor could I find the agenda. So that was a
yeah.
whole nother show.
So Jen,
Um,
yeah, Jen, there is a link. Just go to the city. If you even if you go to Google and you Google the city and you look at this, go to the city of Muskegon Heights webpage. Click on the city of Muskegon Heights, and you can
mhm.
and you scroll down, and it will take you right to the city, to the page itself, and it will give you the link to the meeting. So all the links are always the same. They're
Okay.
not recreated or anything like that. So yes, they're always there. But I got
Okay,
to
I'll
give a
see if
huge
I
shout
can
out.
find it and I'll make sure I post it to the radio station page and share it out that way. So like I said, if you can't attend in person, I'm going to definitely try to get there because even though I know I can't attend every single one, I still pop in from time to time just because I do so much work out there. So I want to definitely um in touch and just stay in the know. As Troy says, get in the know so you can know what you know.
Know
I don't
what
know.
you need to do.
Uh,
Hey, hey, real
who you
quick,
know,
Jen, real
all you
quick.
know.
Right. Real quick, I want to give a thanks out to. I mean, we have, as you know, we have the 8th Street Park project starting to happen here. I want to give a
Yes.
real quick shout out about that. We're thankful to the Community Foundation. We're thankful to Project Safe Neighborhoods and other community leaders and businesses. Um, Auto, all these places, the West Michigan Lakehawks, everybody is playing the Guns Committee, is playing a part of making this project good. We still need help and support in the redevelopment of the bathrooms. We do have some classes, some yearly classes, class of 1980, I want to say 89 is stepping up, and there's other people that want to step up to take part in helping to beautify. We're looking for people to help landscape, all those things. That's going to start here right in April. So the first part of April, the renovation of 8th Street Park is going to start happening. If you notice,
Okay.
the city have already taken part. If you ride past there right now, drive slow because there are a lot of potholes. So I tell you that now. But ride slow. You'll see that all the basketball courts have been taken down. The playground equipment is all taken down. Some trees has already been trimmed down. So it is ready to start moving. United Way is actually stepping up in the week of April 22nd, 23rd, and so on. They're stepping in. So they're set some dates out to come out. So don't let someone else outside your community come out and outdo you. So if
Right.
you want to be a part, get a hold of the city, get a hold of the city manager, get a hold of Janet Robinson or anybody that's in the Guns Committee, and they will also let you know. Jan, on the Lakehawks, I'm telling you, Lakehawks in Flight, our nonprofit, are doing some great things. We do late night Friday night bingo
Hmm.
at the Sherman, um, at the Layton. I say Layton
I
bingo
think
hall.
it's
So
select, select.
select auditorium
Yeah.
Friday night 9:30 to about 1:30. I tell you what, it's been amazing. It is awesome opportunity for us. We got the community center going up. So looking, continue to wait and see what's going to happen there. Right
You
there on
guys have a
Broadway.
basketball event coming up as well, right? A basketball
Yes.
clinic.
Yep, we got a basketball starting here. I want to say sometime in March, not March, not April. We do have a basketball with Moneyball. We're partnering up with Moneyball. That's going to be going on. So that's June 4th and June 5th. So the ages of 7 to 14. It's going on. Also on Broadway, we're going to be doing. We already started what we call legacy bricks. So Broadway, if you think about Broadway, you think about outline the bricks. So there, if you're looking and you have someone who played a significant part of your life, buy a brick, purchase a brick so it'll be laid down in the stone, and look and see when you walk past or other family members come out. We want that boardwalk on Broadway to be just that. People are looking
Oh
at
wow.
people of history in the city of Muskegon Heights. So get a
Oh,
hold
that's
of Lake
dope.
Hawk. Yep, go to Lake Hawks or the Lake Hawks in Flight page, and you can get information on that. So again, thanks to Chief Sane for the energy and the things that he's putting in to make sure that everything that we're doing within the community with the guns, it is paying off. We definitely want to continue to work with our schools. It is about to get warm outside, you all. It's about to get
Hmm.
warm. We want to be proactive instead of reactive. So we want to have safe. I know last night my wife and I woke up to about 9 or 10 shots. I mean, ta 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 ta. So it is there. So what we want to do is make sure that we're proactive and allowing ourselves the opportunity to speak out before someone in our families or someone close to your families are living in tragic moments. So it's
Right.
better to speak and even speak anonymously. So you can call anonymously and you don't have to give your name. You don't have to give any information about who's giving it. Just talk so that some of these things can stop and end
Hmm.
before it's your son, your daughter, your niece, your sister, your mom, or your dad that ends up in a tragic situation. I'm saying all this stuff, Jim, because I'm humbly saying these things. As you know, we're going to keep working on Broadway. So June 11 and 12, we got a free fishing weekend at Mona Lake that's going to be going on. So
Oh wow.
youth, we want things to happen. So we are really doing some things there. We want to teach youth how to fish, how to clean them, and how to cook them. So that's going to be going on at Mona Lake.
What's
Um,
the dates for that again?
that's June 11th and June 12th.
Okay.
That's the free day of fishing. I think it is that weekend. It's free for everyone, so you don't have to have a license to go out. So we're doing some things there. We've already partnered up with that, with the Career Tech Center. We have made a good partnership and a relationship with the Career Tech Center. So we're looking at families from within our community, or young people, youth. We're going to, with the Lake Hawks and our Lake Hawks in Flight, we're going to be hiring some youth that we're going to be teaching them skills, different trades on how to properly, whether they want to build, construction, trade, plumbing. We're going to be teaching those things. We
Good.
had the last time we did with the Social Justice Commission and the guns, we had a walk and talk program that went on, Jen. And some of the things that our youth said, all of them are not going to college. All of them are not going
Right.
to be going. So what did they
Yeah.
want to do? They wanted to learn trades.
Yeah.
Jen, I heard that. I brought
Yeah.
that up to the chief. I brought that up to our committee, and we partnered with the Career Tech Center, and they are ecstatic
Yeah.
of helping and bringing in their committees, their group to come in and teach our young people these skills. If we go out in OB, go out past the college, go past Orchard View High School, and there is one section, Jen, back there where there are homes built, and they're built by students, not construction workers. They're built by the students from the top down. So
Wow.
with that, Jen, I wanted to make
That's
sure
just
that I.
definitely good skills to know in general.
Mhm.
I had Chauncey and Paul on a couple of weeks ago, talking about their program in at Muskegon, which is doing kind of the same thing. But that's
Mhm.
just definitely good skills to have, and especially for honest workers. And I'm just gonna leave it at
Yes.
that. People that do a good
So it
job,
is. It's a not.
and that's an opportunity to make six figures with no degree. As
Yes,
long as
and
you know
and
how to do
and
the
it's
work and
there.
stay the course.
And I talked to one we had, as we know, several months ago. We had Coach Parker. They brought the football team into one of the council meetings. This was prior to me getting on. They brought the kids in. We want to teach them how to even observe things that's going on through our city. So we're teaching them different things. And I talked to Mr. Morrow, and one of the things that I asked, once you leave, what legacy do you have? What will you leave behind? Because we were never told, Jen, we were never told that you didn't have to have a bachelor's degree to do plumbing. We didn't never
Right.
told that you didn't have to go to college to build license. I mean, have a builder's license. We wasn't told that you didn't have to go to school to college to do siding. We didn't know all those things. A lot of those
Right.
things you can get your certification, and all of the things that these people are charging, these businesses are charging, Jen. These young people can have that trade and skill, and they can charge the exact same figures.
Yes,
One
absolutely.
of the things I noticed, and I'll stop talking because I know I gave out a lot of information. Um, One of the things that I noticed with these young guys, and if you ride by Muskegon High School, they did a great job on Brother Harris ticket booth for us. That was just one thing that Brother Harris wanted, to just be able to say he had a ticket booth. So ride past
Mhm.
Muskegon Heights Public Schools, you'll see that. But these young people, Jen, they literally leave from class, and then they go to work. So they leave school, then they go to work. Where are they going to work at? At all these lumber yards, at all these other building facilities. I'm like, wow, really? So these are the same people that we're hiring to come to our place, that these
Mhm.
kids have picked up a trade just through the CTC. So Muskegon Heights Public Schools Academy, let's work together to get our youth a part of that program, so
Absolutely.
that our kids can learn a skill and a trade that not only helps them, but help their own families in return. So Jen, that's my spiel for today. I really appreciate you I appreciate PA, Big Rob, all everyone at 103.7 The Beat. My current administration and staff that works with the Lake Hawks and Lake Hawks in Flight Foundation. I really appreciate everyone. And again, all throughout the city of Muskegon, Frank Peterson is always going to be a much respect to him, the new mayor down there. Much respect and love to everybody as we continue to work together for the common cause, and that's making our communities better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ron. Finally, I've been trying to get him on for a couple weeks, but I was sick last week. He was out of town. They took a nice vacation. Uh, so thank you so much for taking the time out today and just talking to the people about everything you have going on and everything that's happening in the city and with the Lake Hawks. I don't think people really understand, like you said, how much you do and what you have a party in. But it's a lot. Like the man stays busy. So, also thank you, Will and Miss Benita, for posting the Zoom link for the council meeting tonight. So if
Yes,
you are listening and have a chance to look at the Facebook page, they did post the link for that. So if you can't make it in person, you can join the meeting via Zoom tonight. So,
absolutely.
all right. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate you taking the time out. It's always a pleasure talking to you and just hearing what's going on and what your views are. So that is the show for today, everybody. Y'all catch me next week, right at 2 o'clock on Monday for Making Moves Monday with Jen Ross. And as I say every week, collaboration over competition, y'all. That's how we get it done. Again, thanks for listening. And coming up next in the 3 o'clock hour, we have the afternoon jams. So y'all keep it locked right here.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32,